Okay, welcome to the next part of the video. This is the Orbiter challenge number 4. I ended up throwing out one part of the video, so I'm actually going back to the save point that I had here where I was making the decision if I wanted to do the about face and fly back to KSC or continue going forward. In the previous video, you saw that I started to turn around and go back. And then at the end of that video, I, paused and then started recording again where I was, turning around and going back. But I found out that I made that decision too late and there just wasn't enough time to turn around and go back to KSC. If I was going to do that, which I think is the better way to fly this challenge given where I ended up at Earth, I would have needed to start turning around much sooner than I did. I'm at the point here where I'm close enough to the halfway point that turning around just isn't going to work. So we're going to go around the long way. And that'll take a while, so if you want to just kind of skip this part of the video, that's completely understandable. But if you want to watch it and see sort of, the decisions that I make, then by all means go ahead. Right now, I just basically want to glide here in the high part of the atmosphere as long as I can and keep as much of this velocity as I can. I don't want to bleed off any velocity. That way I can circle the globe faster. But I gotta kind of stay down here low enough that I can keep control of my vertical speed. If my vertical speed gets out of control, then I still have the possibility of, skipping out into space. And that isn't mission ending by any means. In some sense, it might even be better to do that. I would have to do a couple of... I'd have to figure some things out. The logic for going out into space would be that by the time you come back down, you would be maybe closer to KSC and you could land right away. Because you can see, like right now, let me bring up Orbit MFD. You can see, let me change the projection and distance. You can see that I have a really good, the Earth has a really good grip on me, so I'm not gonna have a problem of, skipping out into space and, not being able to come back down. I'll just have to go completely around the globe one time. And my orbital period is currently 15,000 seconds, so that would mean that the Earth would rotate. Let me just kind of think about this for a second. So 84,000 or 86,400 seconds is 1 day. So 15,000 seconds, that's like, is that about a quarter of a day? Something like that, 15, 30. It's a little less than a quarter of a day. So by the time I came back down, trying to think, let me pause here. You can kind of follow my thinking. So I'm here right now, right? So if I let myself climb back out into space, I go all the way back around. By the time I get back to periapsis, my question is, where will the Earth have rotated? How much will it have rotated? So the Earth obviously is going to rotate this direction, so I'm going to be further ahead by the time I come back down to periapsis. How much farther ahead will I be? We need to know there's 360 degrees in a circle, divided by let me think about this. So 14,240 seconds is how much of a day? That's what I need to know. So let's do that calculation. I think it's, let me see, I think it's 60 times 60, that's 1 hour, times 24. Yeah, 86.4. So divided by 14,240, that's 6 hours, and 6 hours is 24 hours in a day. So that's 1/4 of a day. So 25%. So the Earth will have rotated 25% of 360. So 360 divided by 4 is 90 degrees. So the Earth will have rotated 90 degrees by the time I come back to periapsis. So how many, each one of these boxes is 60 degrees or 30 degrees. So by the time I get back to periapsis, 30, 60, 90, I should be here. I should be about over, not far from CSSC. I think that actually than just gliding this whole time. So let's see if my math is even remotely accurate, which it wouldn't surprise me at all if it's not, but let's find out. So let's unpause and let's just roll over and head back out into space and go around one time, because again, this isn't a time challenge and it's not a fuel yeah, it's not a time challenge, so you know, all we're trying to do is get back to the base using as little fuel as possible. And in terms of real lifetime, I would prefer to do that faster. So in theory, when I come back to periapsis, I should be here. Let's find out. Getting back out into space. All right, now we can warp time forward more quickly. Go around. God, my math sucks. That's just embarrassingly wrong. Surely I'm not going to be over here in 1,000 seconds. Maybe I did it backwards. Maybe it would be backwards 90 instead of forward. Doesn't make any sense to me though. Let's find out where we're at. Yeah, it must have been the other way around, man. So instead of being... So I thought we would be here. So we were 30, 60, like 90. So yeah, we're exactly backwards of where I thought we would be. But I guess now I'm certainly in a position to do an about face and go back to KSC, I think. So let's do that. All right, so how did I get that wrong though? If the Earth rotates that way, so 30, 60, 90. Yeah, it's exactly opposite of what I thought it would be. Huh. I don't know how I got that. I don't quite understand it because the Earth rotates. You know, this stuff moves that way. So it would seem to me that we would be... I don't get it. Weird. Okay, anyway, let's get down into the atmosphere. And let's try turning around now. Although now, man, geez, I don't know if we're close enough. Guess I'll try it again. Actually, you know what? Let's just go around again. Rather than... I mean, why not orbit one more time? So let me roll out. Because if we're just going to be farther back, we'll be... So next time we'll be here. And then that'll definitely give us the time that we need to turn around and go to KSC. I need to go back to school, man. I really need to learn some math and physics. Okay, so right now I'm just kind of letting the vessel reach equilibrium here, and then we'll climb back out into space, go around the globe one more time. And then we'll be basically 90 degrees. Actually, probably our orbital period's a little bit shorter, so we probably won't be back quite as far, but got the hiccups. But yeah, so we'll be 30, 60, 90, so we should be like right here, and then I can turn around and go to KSC. Okay, we're climbing. And now we're up out of the atmosphere, so let's go around the globe. And then possibly we could even do this 1 or 2 more times, then we would be behind KSC. That's another option. And actually I kind of like that option. So let's get down into the atmosphere. Yeah, if we go around again, we'll be like back here. And I'm trying to just save real life time here, not simulator time. I don't care about the simulator time. But I'd like to, be able to land sooner rather than later. Could probably actually take advantage of this and do a little bit of plane alignment for the base while I am here in the atmosphere. Except I'm not sure which way I need to turn. Bank. That's the wrong way. So here, while we're skimming the upper part of the atmosphere, we can just get a little bit of alignment. It's not really enough to make a difference. All right, let's go around. And around we go. Okay, track our position. And maybe go around one more time. That will put us like back here. I mean, we can turn toward the base now, but then we're kind of looping around for a while, so let's definitely go around one last time. Yeah, one more time for sure. Okay, so a little bit of 10x. Okay. And up and around. Alright, now we're going to land. Because now we'll be far enough behind KSC to be able to land without taking forever to do it. Alright. Base sync. And it's already targeting KSC. So let's get down a little farther, a little bit of 10x time warp. And we're actually going to hit periapsis at a node. That's convenient. And we need to be Let's go forward a little more to get some control. Okay, and we need to be pulling into this direction in order to bring the base alignment down. Okay. Kind of a roundabout way of doing things, but again, I think it's faster probably than, you know, spending all that time gliding. Let's throw out the air brake to slow things down a bit. Let's go full up elevator. Still trying to figure out that equation, like the, you know, 90 degrees. So we got that part right, but why are we ending up behind, not forward? Because the Earth rotates the other way. I'm still not sure. I can't picture why that is. Because the Earth rotates toward us. I don't know. Okay, so you can see the off-base distance quickly coming down. Watch my vertical speed, watch my altitude, not get down too much. Let me bring the air brake in back in for now. So we still have 9,000 kilometers to go. We don't want to slow things down too much too soon. And as much as I kind of like looking at the map, it's not useful. So let's bring up Surface MFD so we can just watch our acceleration, vertical speed, all that stuff a little more easily. In fact, let me switch to the big view so we have big MFDs. Shows up better in the playback. And distance to the base coming down very quickly, and this MFD is only useful to a point, so we're going to get rid of that. Bring up re-entry MFD, which is kind of useful for a couple of things. Actually, let me go all the way around. Oh man, that sucks that I missed that. Roll out. Cape Canaveral, there we are. Now what I want to watch here is the G's. Don't really want to let myself get above 3 if I can help it. You know, a little bit of time above 3 G is okay, but if you have sustained flight above 3 Gs, then you're making your crew very uncomfortable. So currently our alignment with the base is pretty good, and we can tell that. You see this little green bubble here, that tells you left to right how well lined up with the base you are. And currently it's pretty good. If it's way off this way, then we'll need to bank around the other way. But, you know, base sync's obviously more comprehensive in that regard. You can see we've gotten all the way to 0, and now we've gone past it, so we're actually getting farther away in the other direction. But that's okay. You've got so much cross range that, you know, that's fine. So we'll fly at this attitude for a little while. The other thing that we have to watch is our deceleration. Our actual deceleration right now is this number, you know, it's here, negative 76 meters per second squared, and we need this much deceleration, so we need more than we have. But we're still far out enough from the base that I don't want to bring the, you know, I don't want to slow things down too quickly, because we still got a long way to go. But right now, this is basically telling us that we would be overshooting the base by a huge amount. So we'll slip a little bit farther into the atmosphere. You can see our vertical speed coming down, altitude coming down. That'll increase our deceleration, our actual deceleration. And we just want to watch the G's. We're fine, we're comfortable. And keep an eye on the distance to the base. You get too close, you know, you really want to bleed off velocity, because with the standard Delta glider you can't hold that steep AOA like you can in the XR2. So you have to slow things down much sooner. But with all this information that we have here, we should be able to do it without, you know, without overshooting the base or without having to push the nose into the atmosphere really aggressively. And let's kind of roll out a bit. We're down to 59 kilometers. You can see the G increasing, so we want to watch that so things don't get too uncomfortable. And what we can kind of do, actually, since we need to go the other way, we can roll out quickly. You can see that makes our vertical speed increase rapidly, so we want to be careful doing that. But now we're gliding the other direction, and you'll see this green bubble will start going that way. And that tells us how well lined up we are with the base. G-force currently 1.25, so that's pretty comfortable. Let's maybe roll out a bit, just to putter along at this velocity for a while. Sounds like we've got a lot of re-entry flames. We do. About 6,000 kilometers out, about 6,300 kilometers out from the base. You can see this pulling in, getting closer to our lined up with the base, but we'll let it go that way for a while. Then we'll roll back and forth and rinse and repeat. Deceleration actual is, you know, this number, again, that's here, and required is that number, so we'll have to slow things down a bit more aggressively when we get a little bit farther along. One thing we can do is we can throw out the air brake. That'll help a lot. And you can also tell that green bubble, like the up and down, tells you how your deceleration is. Like right now we're over decelerating, we're decelerating too much, so that's why it's up here. Ideally this should always be, you know, right there in the middle, but that's nearly impossible with the Delta glider. So now we're not slowing down enough, that's why it's down here, and now we're past the base in the other direction, and that's why it's to the left. So kind of roll out a bit to bring the vertical speed up a little bit. And as we get a little closer to the base, you know, we'll use the air brake a bit more to slow things down. Again, I'm just trying to cover the distance quickly so that the real lifetime doesn't take as long. Okay, let's go ahead and roll in so our vertical speed stays near 0. So we do need to slow down. Our actual is below the required, so we need to slow down more than we are. G-force is pretty comfortable, 1.4. It's reasonable. Dynamic pressure is 11.71. I don't really know what it means, so. And we will go ahead and rapidly roll out the other way. Watch our vertical speed. It's going to climb way above 0 for a moment. It's not too bad. And the purpose for that is so that we can get our alignment with the base recentered. And let's move along a little more before we worry about throwing out the air brake. Moving along at 6,600 meters a second across the ground. Still got 5,000 kilometers to go to get to the base. And if we want to check our lineup with base sync, we can do that. See, we're 650 kilometers out, but we're rapidly going the other way. But we know that by watching that bubble. But I do like the base sync, gives us an actual number. And I think when we get down to 4,000 kilometers from the base, we'll throw out the air brake as needed to slow things down a bit more. G-force 1.5, we're happy with that. Everybody's comfortable, reasonably comfortable. Just rolling back a bit so that my vertical speed doesn't climb out into space, because we want to continually slow down. We're almost lined up with the base again this way. You can see that little bubble there. And let's throw out the air brake for a few seconds here. Slow things down a bit more. Get our velocity down to like 50, let's go 5,800, then we'll retract the air brake. Rolling back out, we don't want to descend into the atmosphere too much more at this point, at least not till we get a bit closer. Actually, let's retract the air brake at 6,000 meters a second and just see how we are. Okay, we're at 6,000, retracting the air brake, and we're 4,000 kilometers from the base, so we still got a ways to go. Actual deceleration is 2.7, required is 4.4, so we still need to slow down more than we are. But again, we can brake more aggressively when we get closer to the base. If we brake too much now, it'll just take a lot longer to get there. And we can see our off base is getting out this way, so here in a little bit we'll flip over again. But we definitely don't need to concern ourselves with that a lot, because the off base, it just moves so quickly. You know, we can get all the way out to 1,000 kilometers or even more probably before we really worry about turning over. Okay, we're 3,800 kilometers from home, so I can starts to feel like we're getting there. And when we get to about 1,000 kilometers off base, we'll flip over. And this time we'll go out into space. That way the vertical speed climbs. Okay, there we are. Let's roll over. And you can see the vertical speed coming up. So you want to do it quickly. You don't want to climb out too much. And now the off-base distance comes down the other way. But let's go back to re-entry MFD so we can keep track of our G's and our acceleration requirements. Actuals 3.1, required's 4.6, so we need to brake. When we get down to maybe 2,500 kilometers, we'll throw the air brake back out to do some additional braking. G's is 1.7. And you can see our off-base distance quickly coming back this direction, so got a lot of room to play with there. Let's actually roll a bit so we're not climbing. (3,250 meters from home, kilometers from home). Roll a bit. We don't want to descend too much either. And actually, we'll throw the air brake out here at 3,000 kilometers. Slow things down a bit more. And we're well past 30 minutes, I'm seeing now. I just took a look, but I'm going to go ahead and complete the flight in this segment rather than adding another one. Alright, let's throw the air brake back out. Actually, I take that back. Let me pause here because there's still enough time that this will be over an hour probably if I don't go ahead and brake. So if you like this part of the video, hit the like button down below. If you have any questions about my method here, leave your comments down below. I always answer all the comments pretty much. Questions, all that type of thing, leave your comments and questions below. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed and you like all this, orbiter space stuff. Definitely subscribe so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And I also have a Facebook page where I post all my videos and other space-related content, so check that out as well. There's a link to my Facebook page in the description down below, and I will see you in the next video.